It's my absolute wonderful pleasure to be able to introduce Roger Langsdon again to a Newcastle audience. He is remarkable. Pardon? Why? It's fantastic that he wants to keep coming back, and the learnings and they keep changing. Every presentation he does is different. So Roger is involved in the marketing arm of Planet Innovation. They are constantly evolving, constantly innovating themselves. So please make Roger welcome.
Thanks, Christina. Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me again. I love the city of Newcastle. I come here at least once a year. And one of the reasons I like this breakfast is, well, just the talks. So, again, thank you, Catherine. What an inspiring story. It really is to hear it firsthand. And Ben, every time I hear you talk, I always go away, challenging my own approach to innovation and so forth. And I think, that's what it's about. I work for Planet Innovation. I do work in the marketing commercialisation arm. I started out in the engineering team and I got promoted into the commercialisation team, which is code for I was a lousy engineer, right? Trust me, I was. So what do? Well, we develop and commercialise high-tech products, okay? And hopefully the products we like to work on are those that have a positive impact on the world. And to do that, we have a team of very smart, intelligent, dedicated people. Here's some of them. Juggling. Why are we juggling? Well, because juggling is a way to help train the brain to form neural pathways between both sides of the brain. That's exactly what we told the HR department. We just wanted to learn how to juggle, and so we got in some professional jugglers, okay? In addition to the team in Australia, we have about 220 people in Australia. We've got a team of people in North America, mainly the commercialisation team. And whenever they come over to Australia, we always get them out in front of the whole company to give a talk on strategy, progress. It's a fairly serious talk. Here's the three of them here. The CEO thought it would be funny to put a picture of Ron Burgundy in the background with the Anchorman team because he could see some parallels between our commercial guys and the Anchorman team. He just didn't tell them that photo was up. So while they were presenting on strategy and progress, everybody else was in fits of laughter until they looked over their shoulder and saw that. So we don't take ourselves too seriously. But a lot of the products that we develop, well, they are. So this is a benchtop analyzer that helps detect diseases such as influenza very rapidly and allows for faster treatment of the patients, better outcome for the world. This is an automatic witnessing and workflow system for the IVF process. So this is tracking human IVF samples to reduce human error in that process. Again, really specialised, very complex technology for a great cause. In addition to the technology, we have some commercialisation teams. So we started out developing a lot of products, but a lot of products fail not for the technology, but because of the commercialisation path, go to market. So we develop a lot of commercialisation expertise, and we not only develop products for other people, we develop them for ourselves. So we have our own products and ventures. This one is called Zen. We started out with a smart thermostat. We wrapped a business around that called Zen Ecosystems. We launched that over in Newport Beach, California. We then put on the top of that a cloud-based energy management platform with demand response. And now that's a very successful business. It's going to turn over about $10 million this year and help secure the US electrical grid through that Californian area. So to do that, we have to build some pretty innovation muscle. And we've been fortunate, we've won some awards along the way, and it's been great. If you have the opportunity, I encourage you to enter the Most Innovative Awards. It's run by Inventium, they do a great job. At a minimum, you will learn a lot about yourself and your company and where you're at from an innovation maturity point of view. All right, a quick disclaimer. You can read this with me if you like. Planet Innovation hereby states that the information it's about to provide may or may not have any impact, positive or negative, on the success of your idea. In fact, there may be many documented cases where people doing the exact opposite to what we're about to present have become obscenely rich. And we wish them well, sincerely, we do. We just don't think that hope is a great strategy for us or for our clients. So if it's all the same, we plan to follow the advice we're about to present. Further terms and conditions may apply. Why do I make such a point of that? Because you can just go out and get lucky, right? You can just go out and get lucky. You don't need to build process and strategy and so forth. And we all hear about that, yeah? Looks a bit like this. You hear about the stories of the person that just got lucky. The problem is, and you all know it, for every one of them, there's thousands that fail. And we try and avoid that. Yeah, and I probably receive 2 inquiries a week from people, entrepreneurs with ideas. It's about 100 a year. And I meet with a lot of them, and I speak with a lot of them. And a lot of them are struggling. And some of them have this hope because they've read this story and they just think they can march ahead. And one of the gaps that they have, there's lots of different reasons, but one of the things I notice quite common is that people like to do what they like and what they're good at, yeah? Which may not be what they need. So that self-reflection to say, this is what I'm really good at, you know, diagnosing problems, understanding the situation, but I'm not great at web development, so I'm not going to do that. So that's a gap. I need to buddy up on that. Take that advice rather than spend all your time working down that path. And vice versa. A lot of great tech people, tech, the gap's commercialization. So to help bridge this gap, to help make sure that we don't fall into that, Plant Innovation builds these 2 pillars that supports all of our innovation, people and process. And I'm going to go through parts of it really quickly, but it'll give you an understanding of where we play. People to start with. Diversity, difference. Difference is good in innovation, okay? So we hire different people, different backgrounds, different genders, different ages, different experiences, different ways of thinking. We look for that. When we interview people, we try and have people different to each other doing the interview. Otherwise, you kind of end up hiring people similar to yourself. You don't even realise you're doing it, right? Diversity is good. Then, once you've got some diversity, you've got to make sure that diversity interacts. I have been to some of the biggest companies in the world, and they literally have all their engineering people in an engineering building. The commercial people are in the commercial building. Science are in science. You get the idea. It's crazy. From an innovation point of view, it makes no sense at all. This is a high-quality snapshot I took from my phone on Thursday, just before I started to pack things up. I just took two steps back from my desk, took a quick pano where I sit. So we have our finance, Stuart Elliott, who just happened to pop up and go, Rog, what are you doing with the camera? That's him there. You can tell there's a lot of people missing out of the shop, but you get the idea. We have a head of engineering. I'm sitting there with the marketing. I've got design, head of mergers and acquisition, Samantha Cooper, head of science. And then mixed in amongst that are some of our ventures. So we have Zen, which is our thermostat venture and our smart energy management platform, Vitalix, health monitoring, and Sasha DeFeeti, she runs the Mplex business. So there's no beanbag in this photo, but there is a lot of interaction. And if you want some quiet, put your headphones on, because otherwise there's going to be people talking, interacting, listening in to what's going on. Helps a lot. Once you've got them in and they're interacting, give them some focus. Get those people focused on a common goal. Make it big, stick it up on the wall. Kind of like that. So again, just a candid shot. I just stepped back, boom, full day workshop. This was the Zen team. In that photo, we've got people from engineering, manufacturing, design, logistics, support, software, marketing. And we're all looking at things in a different way and bringing different experiences, but they're all looking at the same problem. Okay, and then the third one, the big one. Diversity in your business, you've got common goals on the wall. You need to trust your people. Sounds obvious, yeah? What does trust look like? What does freedom look like? So at our place, this is a very small example. A couple of our guys on the left hanging out with a couple of very young, very creative designers. Mike and Marley run their own little studio, Graham Studio, that are brilliant at animations, augmented reality. So we hang out, we kind of play, we learn some stuff, we muck around. Then we go down the road. We spend a bit of time with these guys, Wicked Witch. They seriously look like they've just walked off stage from a rock concert, yeah? But they're gamification geniuses. They're playing with virtual reality. So we're hanging out with those guys. We end up collaborating with them within a matter of months, and we launch our own virtual reality lab, and now we're doing contracts for companies all around the world building virtual reality experiences for their products before we actually build a product. None of the senior management team commissioned this, asked for us to do this, but the goals of what we're trying to achieve, yeah, and the aptitude of the people drove us to do it. All right. Process. we support the people with process. Really quickly, we obviously have product development process, drives risk out of the projects, yada, yada, yada. Let's move on. We have some commercialization process. This is a little bit more different. Most companies have product development process. Commercialization, this is important. This is a framework that helps us and our clients make sure that we have commercial rigor to innovate our ideas. Yeah? Do we understand the market? Have we got the right concept? Is there a brand that supports this so that when we go out and meet with strategic partners or we're trying to raise money, it stands up? So we have a process and a team around this. But it's the last one I think I might spend the last 7 or 8 minutes having a bit of a chat about. Problem solving. Bit of a negative term, isn't it? Problem solving. I heard Ben use it quite a bit today as well. Tricky problems, yeah? Why so negative? Why so negative, Ben? Like, why not blue sky? Why not blue sky? So we've tried blue sky, yeah? It's really pretty. Sit back and relax. I did this slide with my 8-year-old daughter. I said, what do you see when you see blue sky? She goes, I see unicorns. So we have unicorns. I see more unicorns. We have more unicorns. We see rainbows. So it's kind of nice, but blue sky doesn't always drive action. Not like problems do. Seriously, you put a crossword or a quiz on our lunch table, and mate, it's like bees to honey. People want to solve stuff. Yeah? So let's use that, right? Let's solve some problems. This is a pretty common problem. Where are we going? Next move. Bottom right, yeah? Bottom right. Bang. Winner, winner. Chicken dinner. Right? So we're really good at solving problems. What we're not so good at is understanding problems. Okay? So at what stage did I tell you that we're playing noughts and crosses, and what I want to do is align 3 noughts or 3 crosses in a line? At what point during that process? We just assumed it, right? Looks kind of common, looks pretty familiar. It's this problem, it has this solution. But what if the problem is something different? What if the problem was, how do you create a symmetrical images using noughts and crosses? That ain't it. You got to put the cross in the middle for that one. So this little example is great insight into one of the problems that we face. We're great at solving problems, we're just too good. We rush right through the understanding part. Very similar to some of the things Ben was speaking about. So how do we stop us from doing this? Process, yeah? We have a process. So Planet Innovation uses what we call the BRIGHT process. We just stole from all the other good processes around and whacked it together, right? So, and it uses the design thinking double diamond, which says the first half of the process is dedicated to problem space, and the second half is solution space. Don't go anywhere near that solution space until you've finished with the problem space, right? So I'm going to walk through this really quickly, and I'm going to touch on a couple of points quicker than others, all right? Brief, define the right problem. This is where someone asks you to do something. Go build us a website. Go fix that problem, okay? Get told to do something. And so one of the things, this is really important, this is going to set the direction. Because if you pick the wrong problem, you're going to spend a long time solving it. Ta-da, solved it, wrong problem. So you've got to get this bit right. And the way you approach this is, you've got to be a bit of a doctor, okay? So I've got 2 doctors. Who's got 2 doctors? I've got Dr. A and Dr. B. Dr. A looks a bit like this one, right? Dr. A is the doctor I go to when my back's playing up and I need my anti-inflammatories, and I walk in and I say, hey, Doc. And he goes, hey, Rog. I said, my back's playing up, I need my anti-inflammatories. And Dr. A asks me one question. What does he ask? How many repeats would you like, Rog? That's it. 2 will be enough, thanks, Doc. But then I've got another doctor, right? Dr. B. Dr. B looks a bit more like this one. Right? Or I actually prefer this one. He's my favourite. Why is he my favourite? What sort of a doctor is Greg House? Diagnostics, right? He specialises in diagnostics. He looks for insight, yeah, from very subtle symptoms. So this is the doctor you go to when I've got a headache, and I don't normally get headaches. And then I walk up to this doctor and I say, hey, doc. Yes, hey, Rog. Doc, I've got a headache. This time, the conversation's kind of different. What sort of questions is this doctor going to ask me? Anyone? Got a headache? What type of headache? It's throbbing in the front, right here, doc. What else? How long has it been going? Oh, about 3 days. It started about 3 days ago, doc. What else? What happened 3 days ago? I was doing all the usual stuff, 3 days ago, basketball game, had my basketball game, a lot of exercise. What? Yeah, and have you been drinking? Did you drink plenty of water? Yeah, I've been drinking plenty of water, right? So that's probably not a problem. How was the game? It was a pretty rough game. Did you get knocked around? Did get knocked around? You can feel the vibe to this brief versus the other one. Okay? So this first part of the process has to be a conversation. You need to explore it, understand it. Are we solving the right problem? Right. Research. This is kind of simple, and it's really simple for a reason. You just got to get it right. So I won't spend too much time on it. Only to say, if you don't do it, it can be disaster. I sat in a meeting with our CEO, and a gentleman came in. He'd spent literally millions of his own dollars and years of his life developing technology. He stuck it on the table. As he was explaining it, my CEO reached across, pulled the cordless keyboard towards him, and typed into Google the same technology. On the screen, it came up. Stuart leaned forward and goes, I hate to tell you this. It already exists. And not only does it exist, but it's better and cheaper than what you've got. And I can go buy it over the road. Coffee? Anyone? Coffee? That was an awkward meeting, right? That was an awkward meeting. Research. See, it's a fundamental, but get it done. You'll be amazed how many people don't do it, okay? Immersion. This is one of my favorites. So immersion is a word that we use. It's a part of research, but it's user-centered research, okay? So this is about deeply understanding the problem from the user's perspective. And to do this, I'm going to need some assistance. Have you got a sec? Can you pop out? Yeah, sure. Come out. Come on. Aren't you regretting you came out this morning? Come on. What's your name? Connor. Stand here, Connor. Guys, Connor's got a problem. You nervous?
Maybe.
Okay. Connor's got a problem. See, every time Connor gets up here and presents, right, his feet hurt, his eyes get a bit watery, hands get a bit sweaty. It all becomes fairly unenjoyable. Can anybody help Connor? Yeah? Anybody help Connor? Any ideas, suggestions? Anybody? Breathe. That's a good one. Breathe, Connor. Come on. Breathe. Good. Any others? Connor's breathing. Smile. Yeah, smile. Is it helping? Yeah? Guys, this is immersion. We're trying to get a deep understanding for Connor. We cannot do that while he's here and you're there. Who else can help? All these people here, you can help. You're looking at me. She's doing a good job looking the other way. Someone pop out. Come out. Come out. Come on. Yeah, out you come. So we do this all the time. We sit behind desks. We sit in labs. We sit in our office. We sit in our own country. Stand up here. What's your name?
Seth.
Seth. Okay, Seth. We're helping out Connor, okay? We're trying to understand his problem. Looks different from up here, doesn't it? Different from over there. What can you feel? What can you see?
Same.
Yeah? Light's kind of beating on you, a bit of a glare. Got this trippy little carpet thing you're worried about every time you walk back. You can't see the slide, so you have to keep looking over your shoulder. You can see the slide you're on. Now you're worried about what the next slide's coming up. You can't see it. There's no monitor in front of you. So the whole thing feels different, right? This is immersion. This is user-centered problem understanding. All right, we're done, guys. Good job. Thanks. Thanks for coming out. That's it. Only once we've done all that are you allowed to have fun and start generating ideas. Okay? Because this is the bit we all want to get to. Let's just generate ideas. The reason that you all started solving that, exactly the same reason as the last one. People do what they like and what they know. Yeah? I mean, just getting up and walking out here was uncomfortable. Yeah, it's a little bit uncomfortable. And it's the same when you go to someone else's workplace, or it's the same when you go to someone else's environment and sit there. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. You've got to do it. You've either got to train yourself to do it or find people that are good at doing that sort of stuff. All right, so let's generate some ideas. We all brainstorm. Yeah, brainstorm, great. We do heaps of it. Use it. Just be aware that it's only a tool for generating ideas and there's other great tools around. So become aware of that. Play with those sorts of ones. Here's the challenge. 20% of the world's energy is used to keep these sorts of multi-dwelling buildings temperature even. Wow, that's a lot of energy. Yeah? Huge amount. How can we reduce that to zero? How could we do that? How could we come up with ideas to reduce the amount of energy required to do that to zero? One approach is to ask, who else has done it? Who else is already solving that problem? And the answer is nature. Okay? Ants are already doing it. They live in multi-story dwellings using very natural resources and some very smart engineering to maintain a very even temperature. So this is an example of what we call biomimicry. Okay, it's a fun way of drawing inspiration from nature to solve problems that we're facing. It's one of the many tools that are out there to generate ideas. Spend some time, have some fun. Once we've got those ideas, you halve them. You whack it on a wall, come up with a good criteria, find the ideas that you want to take forward. Some of them will be the best ideas, some will be the easiest ideas, some of them might be the coolest ideas, but you'll need to now change your thinking from being exploratory to kind of a bit analytical. And then the last one. Again, this kind of sounds basic. Well, you just present your top idea. It's amazing how many people go through that whole process and then trip over at the end. You've got your great idea. Yeah? Pitch it. How many times do you hear people say, I came up with that idea ages ago. Nobody liked it. Didn't take off. It's like, man, give it everything you've got. Make it look good. Spend some time. Find some other people that have got some skills that can do this sort of stuff. Don't leave yourself short on that very final step. Right? That's the BRIGHT process. BRIGHT. We train our whole team, our whole company on that. From the receptionist to the manufacturing to the engineers to the senior management. Everybody goes through that training. We just run it internally. People, process. We don't talk about innovation much at work. For us, innovation is just good business. And if you want to focus on one thing, focus on problems. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Roger.